I want to give a quick recap of what we did yesterday. Yesterday, we focused, from the feedback, we had a lot of great sessions. A lot of you people enjoyed the programming yesterday, where we spoke about some of the programs we have at the foundation, including the accelerator program that we have run in Kigali and in Zambia, and will continue in other countries going forward. Proof of concepts, the 3 countries that are currently engaged in proof of concepts with Mojaloop, that is, we heard from Guinea, we learned about the Bank of South Sudan model, and the Comesa digital retail payments platform as well, which is all exciting, lots of lessons for very many people in the room, which is great. Today, we want to change speed a little bit, and we will split the day into 2. Mojaloop Foundation works in a pretty large ecosystem, and there are many of our partners who do excellent work, and we'd like to hear some updates from them, and that will be the focus this morning. And then the afternoon, we'll begin to listen from our community members, see the actual work that they do, and get the updates and see the updates that are that they have been working on over the last couple of months. But before I get started, we have 2 brief announcements. I want to recognize the presence of Madam Miriam Kamuhuza, the Director of National Payment Systems at the Bank of Zambia. Madam Miriam, if you could just please stand and wave. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Then, as we begin, yesterday we briefly introduced Keong, who's working on a research project, helping us understand what's happening in the room, what's happening in our ecosystem. So I just want to call Keong up to highlight a couple of things briefly before we begin. Keong? Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for allowing me to speak 1 or 2 minutes on the stage. So again, my name is Keong Shin, and I'm a researcher from Oxford University. Nice to meet all of you. I met some of you and spoke with some of you already, but I haven't met many of you, so I want to listen to your stories and insights. So this is my 3rd community meeting that I'm joining. And it's been a great pleasure to observe the growth and expansion of the community over the past year or so. It's a really pleasure to join another community meeting here in Zambia. So my research is really about ecosystem creation. The Mojaloop community has been really successful in creating and expanding an innovation ecosystem of stakeholders, including regulators, fintechs, nonprofits, and many others. And yesterday we heard a lot about ecosystem, stakeholders, scale, and things like that. And these are exactly the topics that I want to focus on. So we are now actually working on this research project with the aim of publishing articles, articles not only for academics, but also for practitioners. So if you're interested in being featured in any of these articles, or if you want to co-author some of these articles with me, please let me know, and I'll be happy to discuss the details. It could be in any format. It could be a case study, it could be a blog post, it could be a longer article like an academic paper. So if you're interested, please let me know, and I'll be happy to discuss details. And I'm a member of this Oxford Research Center on the future of finance and technology, and we'll be happy to publish these articles. So yeah, that's what I want to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Keong. For those of us who are new in the community, I just want to call attention to one thing. From today and tomorrow, you will increasingly hear a lot of the speakers making appeals for help or participation. I want to call out 2 that we've had so far. Yesterday, CC brought to attention the scheme rules template document, which will require your input and your thoughts just to make it a much better document and something that we can enrich with our various experiences, with our various backgrounds. So that's one thing I want to call attention to. This morning, Keong has pulled out an appeal for those who would like to be featured in articles or co-articles with respect to the research he's doing on the Mojo Loop community and ecosystem. So 2 things. I have a few more in my presentation this morning, so why don't we get started there? Next slide. So we live in a in the room, we have about 140 people today. This is by far our largest convening in terms of the number of attendees we've had in the room. But this is just a drop in the ocean, considering that in the wider Mojo Loop ecosystem, including our community members, our partners, those who are deploying, we've got over 1,300 plus participants across 6 continents in 81 countries. There's everywhere. Oh yeah, you can give a round of applause. It's an incredible growth. While there are 140 people in the room, there are a whole lot more people watching on Zoom, and others whose time zone makes it impossible to join us, either virtually or in person, but they continue to volunteer and contribute their time, their resources, their skills in advancing Mojo Loop. This morning, previous slide. Let's go 2 slides back. Yep. I want to focus on 4 things. These 4 things, I think, are the most relevant things we can talk about for people in this room, starting with the product council governance. Next slide, please. Next slide. We, as a community, have community governance councils. These are community decision-making bodies within that make decisions affecting the product and the technical development of Mojo Loop. Now, I said this yesterday, but I want to highlight this one more time. Everybody in this room can influence or contribute to the decision-making process within the Mojo Loop community. And one of the councils that we have is called the Product Council, where we get to hear from adopters, hub operators, those involved in go-to-market teams, and our community members, those who actively build and contribute code, ideas, bugs that need to be fixed. But until now, the Product Council has not been a decision-making body. Some of you will recall in the previous Product Council meeting, we did make a proposal to turn the Product Council into a governance group so that its decisions are binding. And I wanted to go over this model briefly because on Friday, November 3rd, we will take a vote as a community to formally adopt this new structure. Now, the first thing I'm going to say is that the Product Council is open to everyone. Whether you're working at a central bank or a hub operator, whether you're a part of people driving adoption or the community member, the Product Council is open to absolutely everyone. And if you've got an idea for a feature or a bug that needs to be fixed or something that you believe needs to be added into the Mojo Loop product, we now are requesting any community member to submit this to the Product Council. The Product Council meets once a week virtually on Zoom. That's led by our product manager, Paul Makin, whom you will hear from in about 5 minutes. And these product requirements will be discussed on a weekly basis. And the discussion will lead to a decision of whether to turn that product requirement or market requirement into a work stream. Now, the candidate work streams will then, at a convening like this that we have 3 times a year, the community will determine which work streams, which candidate work streams become formal work streams or work streams that official work streams. For those who are new in our community is organized into work streams. Everything we do falls under a particular work stream. Our work stream is essentially a group of people with a clear objective and with about 3 months' time trying to work on accomplishing a couple of goals, both contributing code or addressing some product requirement or other market requirement needs. Now, this Friday, I do invite all of you to be in the room because we will have a list of candidate work streams that our product director, Paul Makin, will give us, and you will get to decide which of those work streams become official work streams for the next 3 months, for the next program increment. Now, traditionally we have voted, but from henceforth forth, we will vote with our feet, meaning a work stream will only become official when you commit to contribute to that work stream. and we need a minimum of 3 people in a work stream in order for that to happen. The work streams are completely open to everybody in this room, all those folks on Zoom, so please do consider signing up to participate. We will also be updating the roadmap. Paul Mikin will talk about the roadmap shortly, so I'll skip that bit. Let's go to the next slide. So just as a reminder, this Friday, we will be putting to a vote to everyone in this room to adopt the new product council proposal. Those of you on Slack will be able to see a link to a document that summarizes the proposal in some level of detail. So please take some time to look through that. And remember to be in the room on Friday so that we can formally adopt this. Right. Secondly, I want to talk about the community survey. Next slide, please. We did open the community survey about a month ago. And we took the results of that community council survey to the community council, which is the representative governing body of the Moja community. And they said, we don't have enough data, we need more. So I am under instruction by your leaders, members of the community council, to reopen the survey. That survey is now up. It is online. You should see a link in Slack. Yesterday, those of you on our mailing list received an email with a link to the survey. Please fill it out. Do not ignore it. It does take about 10-20 minutes to fill it out, but it's absolutely important for us to get your feedback so that we can plan better for the next year. So the survey will remain open for another month until November 24th. So please do prioritize and get this done. We'd really appreciate that. Secondly, we have now proposed a modular community sync. Next slide, please. There are some items that we need to go over in some level of depth and detail. We will not be able to do that here in this convening. So next week, Thursday, November 9th at 2 p.m. UTC, we will have a community-wide call. Please register to join. The link should be posted on Slack just about now, and there is an email that has gone out with this information. That was an email that went out yesterday. So please do sign up. It is absolutely important that we have your participation in that meeting. So please do sign up. Next slide. This is the last thing I want to cover. Every year we have elections to choose our leaders. Next slide. We've got 3 community, 4, including the product council now, but 3 community governance groups. We have the community council. This is the representative governing body of the Moja community. They essentially they have oversight of pretty much everything that happens in the community. We have 9 openings, 9 people that need to fill that slot. We've got the design authority. The design authority makes the technical decisions around the design of the technical design of Moja Loop. They meet once a week. We've got 5 openings there. And then we've got the change control board. Now, new this year is we used to elect both a rapporteur and a convener. We have now changed that. The convener role will be fulfilled by a Moja Loop staff member, that is Sam, in his capacity as technical director. Sam Kumari, he's at the back right there. We will only be choosing a rapporteur this time, so 1 person. So how does the elections work? Next slide, please. Beginning today, oh, that's not very clear. Beginning today, there is an email that you should receive in about 5 minutes time, if you haven't already received it, with a link to register and to nominate people. To participate in elections, you need to have been an active member, active contributor to the Moja community over the last 1 year in some respect. We do have ways of verifying that. So do consider registering, do consider self-nominating or nominating somebody else for any one of the positions that you have seen. And then the elections itself will begin on Wednesday, November 15th. And we should have the announcement of the winners on Wednesday, November 29th. So all this information is up on a blog post on the Moja Loop website. You will get an email, or you should have received an email in the next, by now, formally announcing this process. So please do engage at the earliest opportunity you have. That would be ideal. Next slide. So that is it.